Did you know that 70% of how people perceive you in a conversation comes from your body language and voice? That means the words you say are only a small part of the equation. Shocking, right? In fact, studies show that the first 7 seconds of any interaction determine whether or not people will listen to you. That's less time than it takes to grab a coffee. So, how do you make the most of these precious seconds? How do you turn every speech into a powerful message that sticks? In this video, I'm going to share 6 game-changing strategies to help you become a speaker who connects, engages, and inspires. You'll learn how to use your voice, body language, and mindset to leave a lasting impact, whether you're speaking to a crowd or just having a one-on-one conversation. By the end of this video, you'll be able to speak with confidence and clarity, and you'll understand exactly how to grab your audience's attention from the very first word. Ready to improve your communication by 88% in just 8 minutes? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Unlock your vocal power. The secret of vocal dynamics. You may not realize it, but your voice is one of your strongest communication tools. In fact, research shows that over 38% of how we're perceived in communication comes from vocal tone alone. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Think of your voice like an instrument. Just as musicians use pitch, volume, and rhythm to create impact, you can use these elements to keep your audience engaged. A monotone voice will lose their attention fast, while varying pitch keeps things exciting. Think of the most captivating speakers you've heard. Their voices likely fluctuate in pace, pitch, and volume, right? The key here is vocal dynamics, the ability to control your voice to highlight important points. A well-timed, sudden drop in volume can capture attention, while a sharp rise can indicate excitement or urgency. A study by the University of California found that speakers who vary their tone of voice are 33% more likely to keep their audience's focus compared to those who speak in a monotone. That's a huge difference, right? A great exercise to develop this skill is to read a short passage from a book, but with varying tones. Try speaking it in an excited voice first, then switch to a serious tone, followed by a playful one. This helps you become comfortable with using your voice in different ways. And don't forget about your pace. Speaking too fast might overwhelm your listeners, while speaking too slow could bore them. The key is finding a rhythm that matches your message. Slow down during important points, then speed up when you're building excitement. Your voice is powerful, it can bring your words to life. If you master vocal dynamics, your communication will instantly improve. Chapter 2. The pause that powers your presence. When you think of a great speaker, do you picture him speaking non-stop, or do you imagine him pausing at key moments? Believe it or not, the pause is a game-changer in public speaking. Research has shown that strategic pauses help your audience absorb information and create suspense. For example, studies indicate that speakers who use pauses effectively are rated as 30% more persuasive than those who rush through their words. In fact, silence can say more than words ever could. Pausing at just the right moment, especially after an important statement, gives your listeners time to reflect and absorb what you just said. The pause can create a dramatic effect, heightening the impact of your message. The human brain processes information in chunks, and too much talking without breaks can overwhelm it. A well-placed pause allows your audience to digest your message and feel more connected to what you're saying. The best speakers use pauses to control the pacing of their speech. For example, Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic, "I Have a Dream" speech is filled with powerful pauses that made the message more moving. His pauses weren't just for effect, they were strategically placed to allow the weight of his words to land on his audience. The trick is to resist the urge to fill every silence with filler words like or ah. These words weaken your authority and make you sound less confident. Instead, let the pause work its magic. Next time you're rehearsing a speech or conversation, practice pausing. Don't be afraid of silence. In fact, embrace it, it'll make you sound more confident and help your audience engage with your words. Chapter 3. The art of mirror speaking. Not just for self-talk. We all know that practicing in front of a mirror is a useful tool, but did you know it can also enhance your non-verbal communication? The mirror technique isn't just about memorizing lines, it's about observing yourself as you speak. When you speak in front of a mirror, you can see exactly how your body language matches your words. Are you standing up straight, or are you slouching? Are you making eye contact, or are your eyes wandering? These small body language cues can have a huge impact on how your message is received. According to a study from the University of Nevada, 55% of communication is nonverbal. That means your body language, facial expressions, and posture speak louder than your words. If your body language doesn't match your message, it can create confusion for your audience. A lack of confidence in your posture, for instance, may make you seem less credible. Mirroring is another useful technique. If you're nervous about making eye contact, try mirroring your facial expressions or gestures. It helps you get comfortable with how you look while speaking and builds confidence. It's like rehearsing with a partner, but with the mirror reflecting back exactly how you're presenting yourself. Want to take it a step further? Try using the mirror to practice your facial expressions. Smile, raise your eyebrows, or practice showing emotions like curiosity or surprise. This helps you control how your facial expressions align with the message you're conveying. And if you're speaking in front of a group, imagine that you're looking into the eyes of each individual in the audience. It's a technique that great speakers use to make everyone feel personally addressed, even in a crowd. By combining vocal dynamics with mirror speaking, you're not just practicing your words, you're refining every aspect of how you communicate. These strategies take your speaking game to a whole new level. If you're enjoying these tips so far, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more valuable insights on becoming a better communicator. Chapter 4, Storytelling with Purpose, Creating Emotional Anchors. We've all heard the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a story can be worth even more. When you tell a story, you're not just sharing information, you're creating an emotional connection. And that emotional connection makes your message stick. Studies show that our brains are wired to respond to stories. According to neuroscientist Paul Zak, stories release oxytocin, the feel-good hormone, making us more empathetic and connected to the speaker. This is why storytelling is one of the most powerful tools in communication. When you tell a story, you're not only informing but also engaging your listeners on a deeper level. A study from the Harvard Business Review found that people remember stories up to 22 times more than just facts alone. Imagine if you could use that to your advantage. But how do you craft a story that leaves an impact? Start by anchoring the story to an emotion. Whether it's excitement, fear, or joy, tying your story to a strong emotional response makes it more memorable. For example, if you're speaking about overcoming adversity, share a personal story where you felt fear and then triumphed. This creates a stronger emotional bond with your audience. The best stories also have a clear purpose. You shouldn't just tell a story for the sake of storytelling. The story needs to reinforce the point you're trying to make. Think about Steve Jobs. When he unveiled the iPhone, he didn't just talk about technology, he told a story about how the iPhone would change people's lives. Another powerful technique is the show, don't tell method. Instead of explaining how something feels, let your audience experience it through your story. For example, instead of saying, "It was difficult," describe the physical sensation of that difficulty. "My heart raced as I wondered if I was going to make it." When you craft a story with purpose, your message becomes unforgettable. So next time you're speaking, ask yourself, what story can I tell that will connect my audience to my message emotionally? Chapter 5, Your Mindset for Impact, The Invisible Power of Pre-Talk Rituals. Have you ever heard of the power pose? Research from Harvard suggests that standing tall before you speak can actually make you feel more confident. But what about other pre-talk rituals? What's the science behind them? Your mindset plays a huge role in how effective you are as a speaker. Before you step in front of an audience, it's important to get into the right mental state. In fact, 70% of effective public speaking is about mental preparation. The physical act of speaking is just 30%. One effective ritual is visualization. Olympic athletes have been using visualization techniques for years to prepare for big events, and it works just as well for public speakers. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking with confidence. Picture the audience nodding in agreement and smiling as you speak. Visualizing success helps reduce anxiety and boosts your performance. Another powerful technique is deep breathing. A study from the University of Chicago found that deep, slow breaths can lower stress and calm your nerves. This technique doesn't just help with relaxation, it also improves the clarity and strength of your voice. If you're nervous, take a few deep breaths before starting your speech. Affirmations are also a game changer. Positive self-talk can reframe your mindset. Instead of thinking, "I'm going to mess this up," tell yourself, "I'm a strong and confident speaker." Studies show that affirmations can improve performance by up to 20% by boosting self-esteem and reducing fear. Finally, don't forget about posture. Standing in a power pose for just 2 minutes before speaking can increase your feelings of dominance and control. Harvard psychologist Amy Cuddy's research revealed that body language affects how we feel and how others perceive us. When you stand tall and confident, it signals to your brain that you're ready to perform. By incorporating these rituals, you mentally prepare yourself to step on stage as the best version of yourself. Your confidence will soar, and your communication will shine. Chapter 6, From Audience to Allies, The Magnetic Effect of Connection. The best speakers don't just talk to their audience, they connect with them. Building a strong rapport with your audience can turn a passive crowd into active participants. But how do you create this magnetic connection? One of the simplest yet most powerful techniques is eye contact. According to a study by the University of Aberdeen, speakers who make eye contact are perceived as more trustworthy, engaging, and credible. When you lock eyes with someone in the audience, it signals that you're paying attention to them and that their presence matters. Another way to connect is by using inclusive language. Phrases like we, us, and together make the audience feel like they're part of the experience. Instead of saying, you should do this, say, let's do this together. This transforms your speech into a shared journey. The mirroring technique can also create instant rapport. People tend to feel more connected with others who resemble them. By subtly mirroring the body language, tone, and energy of your audience, you can increase feelings of trust and connection. This doesn't mean copying them exactly, but rather matching their energy and gestures to show you're in sync. Another technique for building rapport is telling personal stories. The more personal and vulnerable you are, the more the audience will relate to you. If you share a moment where you struggled and overcame it, your audience will connect with that human experience. It makes you seem more real and relatable. Lastly, ask questions and encourage interaction. This keeps your audience engaged and makes them feel like they're an important part of the conversation. Asking, "How many of you have experienced this?" invites the audience to reflect and become part of your message. By focusing on creating a genuine connection, you transform your speech from a one-sided monologue to a conversation. The audience becomes your ally, and your message resonates much deeper. If you've enjoyed these strategies, don't forget to subscribe for more tips to improve your speaking and communication skills.